Hey, it's Mike Cooch with Services That Scale. In this video, I'm going to share with you what I am calling the anti-agency opportunity and what I think may be one of the best opportunities to create a real lifestyle business that also creates real wealth for you in the next 5 years. If you're not familiar with me, I publish a site called servicesthatscale.com where I help agencies build scalable, profitable businesses. And I myself have built 2 multi-million-dollar service businesses selling to the small business industry, one in IT services and one in marketing services. Made the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies 3 years in a row and was able to sell one of those businesses for a successful multi-7-figure exit. And I share all that with you just so hopefully if this is your first time here, I have some credibility in some of the topics here that I'm about to share with you in this video. Now, I said in the intro to this video, the anti-agency opportunity, and I want to explain what I mean by that. You may have likely heard of the opportunity to create a digital agency helping small businesses, local businesses, to take advantage of digital marketing to grow their businesses. And this is being touted as a huge opportunity, and it is. The amount of money that is spent by small businesses on digital marketing, on advertising, on services supporting that, websites, web hosting, software, all of that collectively is a huge amount of money. And there are businesses certainly that are having a lot of success in helping those small businesses be better and take more advantage of digital marketing. But the reality is that very few of those having good success, growing a business, a healthy, profitable business, servicing those small businesses, very few of them are agencies. Okay, if you look around at the businesses that are really having success and really growing, they're software companies like the HubSpots of the world or the ConvertKits of the world, or they're hosting and services companies, cloud services, things like that, such as Amazon. GoDaddy is still this major hosting player. It's services like that and software that are really having the success, growing big, successful businesses. And even if not big, ConvertKit's not a huge company, but it's a privately owned company started by one guy with very little money, raised very little money, and is now printing millions and millions of dollars in free cash for him every single year and having an amazing lifestyle running that business, right? And I think for most of us, that's what we're after. And that's really what this video is all about, is the opportunity to create businesses like that, like the ConvertKits, like the HubSpots, maybe on a much smaller scale if you're not trying to raise a ton of venture capital and be, the next multi-billion-dollar company, but companies that are successful because they have a product that really does scale and really does provide a lot of value to those small businesses, unlike the agency model. So let's just get really clear, really honest. You see all of this agency opportunity being touted again right now all over the place online. And I have been speaking about the agency industry for over 10 years now and working in that industry for over 10 years now. But I have said consistently that I am actually anti-agency. And I say that because the traditional digital agency model is based on selling time and it's based on selling talent. And the reality is that small businesses cannot afford to pay you enough for your time and talent to make a really successful business model. And this is why, yes, there are tens of thousands of agencies out there, but the average agency is bringing in somewhere around $250,000 a year in revenue. That's not a lot. That's a tiny business. Okay, $250,000 a year in revenue, and that's because most of these agencies are just a founder, maybe 1 or 2 people on their team, some contractors that they're paying part-time to do project work, and revenue and profitability is inconsistent at best, and sometimes it's just an awful damn roller coaster of not knowing where the next project and the next billable hour is going to come from, but knowing that you have to find it because you don't have good, solid recurring revenue coming from anything else. So that business model has never been a successful business model with small businesses. And I've been in this industry long enough to see that there have been companies in the past that have raised hundreds of millions of dollars from venture capitalists to try to create a successful agency model in that small business space. Reach Local comes to mind, which went through this meteoric rise because they were spending venture capital money to get those revenues from the small business customers, and then collapsed because there was no profitability. Their business model did not work. And they're just one of a handful that raised lots of venture capital money to go after the space and failed. It is not a good business model unless you are selling to very large companies that have the money to pay you for your time and talent and that are spending millions, tens of millions, or hundreds of millions of dollars on advertising, and a percentage of that automatically then goes to the agency for helping to facilitate the spend of those advertising dollars as well as do the creative around those advertising campaigns. But that's not what small businesses do. That's not what small businesses can pay for. So what is the anti-agency opportunity then? The anti-agency opportunity is to build a business that is providing value, helping those small businesses take advantage of digital marketing so that they can grow their businesses and be successful, but doing it in a way that is scalable, profitable, delivers recurring revenue, and all of that is accomplished by having a business model where you are selling access to some sort of automation technology platform or some sort of automated technology services that you are then delivering to those small businesses. So it's not based on your time, it's not based on your talent, it's based on the actual technology and automation and services that you're able to deliver to those customers and earn really high margin recurring revenue from doing it. That is the anti-agency opportunity, and until just very recently, you would have to develop the technology of those services yourself to be able to build a business that represented this model that I'm talking about. You would have to be a software developer. You would have to know how to go out and create those tools or services that you would deliver to the small businesses. But that has all changed very recently thanks to a company that is absolutely shaking up the industry called GoHighLevel. You may have heard of them already. If you have not, you absolutely need to hear of them if you are interested at all in this industry. And I will tell you right now, I am completely biased. I have been in this industry long enough. I have seen all kinds of things come and go. I have never seen a company that is creating so much positive change in this industry so fast and creating so much opportunity for us so fast that I've gone all in. I've gone all in on running my own businesses on their platform, on promoting their platform to anybody that I think is interested in this industry, and as well as selling it and using it to deliver services to small businesses. And I've done that because it is the best option that I have ever seen for delivering that value that we're trying to deliver to small businesses, because we are using technology and automation to do that. And that's what small businesses need. They need those marketing systems that are affordable enough and efficient enough to be able to use, because they don't have teams to be able to run all this marketing technology. It's got to be easy. It's got to be efficient. And they are allowing us to deliver those services in a way that is actually very profitable for the agency. Again, I only use that word because that's the word that people expect to hear. But for us service providers, which is what I refer to as marketing service providers or MSPs, we have a business model now that is based on that technology and the services around that technology as if it's our own technology. GoHighLevel's model is to work with us as the channel partners to deliver their software and services, and they give us all of the margins of the software and services. It is effectively as if I have developed my own technology platform to deliver services to small businesses, but I didn't have to develop any of it. Okay, that's their business model. It's working for them. They're one of the fastest growing software companies in the world. They have grown almost entirely organically. They have almost no sales team at all. They are growing purely out of the enthusiasm of the community of agencies that they are servicing, because agencies are realizing, wow, this is the opportunity to finally have a business model that really, really works, and they are rushing to HighLevel to take advantage of it. So again, I am completely biased. I am not going to pretend that I think that there is a lot of other options for you to be successful in this industry. I really don't. I mean, yes, you can create a small service business, a small agency where you're selling your time and your talent. That option will always exist. And you can generate $100,000 a year, $200,000, $250,000 a year in revenue. And some agencies do significantly better than that, but their business model is not necessarily significantly better than that, because every time their revenue goes up, they have to hire more employees, the overhead grows, it gets more difficult to run. It's just not a fun business. Versus if you are selling access to technology into a technology platform and you've got these services that are generating recurring revenue for you at 80, 85% gross margins or higher, you are signing on new customers and your recurring revenue and your income is growing without having to add a bunch of new overhead. It's a totally different business and a totally different business model. And that's what this anti-agency opportunity is all about. All right, I'm going to share with you some statistics about why the agency business model, the traditional agency business model, using time and talent as your product, as your service, is a flawed business model, just to make sure that I really make that case. And I'm also going to share with you why selling technology-based, software and services are the right direction to go with your business. And I'm going to share some good statistics around that as well. But before I do that, before I share that information, I want to make sure I'm really clear right now the model that I think that you should be pursuing if you are interested in building a business in this space. And that is to be 100% focused on getting as many small businesses as you possibly can onto using your white label version of the HighLevel software system and the related services that you can resell through HighLevel. You want to get as many small businesses on there as you possibly can. And the reason why is that there is going to be a short-term rush. Let's consider it the next 3 to 5 years, where there are going to be a lot of agencies out in the space adopting HighLevel, understanding this model, and really pushing to sell into the space. And those that are successful at doing it, at adding 100 customers, a couple hundred customers, that is going to be an incredible lifestyle business, because it's not the same $100,000 or $250,000 that I was talking about with the agency model. It's not the kind of revenue that you have to chase every single day because you're worried waking up in the morning where your next billable hour is going to come from. This is revenue that's going to come in every single month, recurring month after month for years. So imagine that you've got $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 a month of recurring revenue coming in every single month. That is just predictable. You don't have to chase it. It hits a credit card of your customers every single month, and it's providing something that's so valuable to those customers that they are happy to pay it and will not be leaving. That is a totally different business and a totally different opportunity. And that revenue stream is so valuable that you will be able to sell that business, if you'd like, for a good chunk of money. Okay, when people sell those small little agency businesses, they sell for a fraction of the annual revenue. So if it's a $500,000 agency, maybe they'll get $200,000, $250,000 in a sale, because the business is really just not much of a business. It's $500,000 worth of a handful of people chasing their tail every day. Nobody really wants to buy that business. But if you have $50,000 a month of recurring revenue, somebody paying you on a credit card, on software, $397, $490 at a time, and it comes in month after month and customers stick for years, I will gladly pay you multiple times your revenue to get that business from you. So if you have a $500,000 business in this anti-agency model, you can sell that for $1.5 million, $2 million, the kind of money that can actually really change your life if you decide to sell it. And if not, you can keep it and continue to collect that revenue on a recurring basis, which is a really nice lifestyle. But this opportunity is not going to last forever, because when customers get onto the software, they're going to stick. So whoever sold them in the first place is going to be able to take that customer for years to come. It's going to be hard to get them to switch once they're on that platform. So you want to be 100% focused on selling these types of services now. Your entire business model should be not how much can I charge for a website design, how expensive of a retainer can I get somebody to pay me for doing advertising. It should be exactly the opposite. It should be doing whatever you need to do to get customers on that software as efficiently as possible, so that you can get as many as possible, as quickly as possible, and keep them for as long as possible. That should be 100% the focus of your business and just your obsession as an entrepreneur here over the next few years, as it's going to be mine. Okay, that is the anti-agency opportunity. So anything that you're hearing about, you could be a web design agency, you could be a pay-per-click agency, a lead generation agency, any of that, anybody saying that you should be charging high retainers, any of that is doing is slowing down the volume of customers that you could be getting onto these tools, because you're charging your higher agency prices. It's limiting the number of customers that can afford you. It's slowing down your sales process, and it's just costing you opportunity. We don't want to screw this up right now. The anti-agency model is 100% focused on getting people onto the software. Now, here's the trick. Even though I just said all of that, you can't just sell the software. Why? Because software is a commodity, and this is a big mistake a lot of people in this space are making right now. They've got high level, and so they're thinking, I'm just going to go out and set it up to look like a CRM and sell that CRM. Well, so do so many other agencies out there have that same software. It's commoditized now. Software is just a tool, and lots of people have access to that tool. And small businesses have had access to these types of tools for a long time. So they could be using tools like this already. The reason they're not is because they need help. They need somebody to guide them. They need somebody who can provide some layer of services and training and a little bit of done for you on top of that software to make it easy for them to adopt and understand how to use. Otherwise, they could just be buying tools from anybody else. You can't just sell tools. You still need to wrap it in this layer of services, not customized old school agency services. You've got to do this right. I call it creating a marketing systems provider business, and that system is key. By system, I mean tools, but I mean also proven marketing campaigns and assets that you layer on top of those tools, and also some services, some coaching, some leadership on top of that, so that a small business can sign up for these tools from you, but get a different service experience than just going and signing up for ConvertKit on their own and being expected to use those tools without anybody helping them. So the agency in all of this is still important. It's just not that old school custom time and talent services agency model, okay? That's an incredibly important differentiation to make sure that you execute on this model properly, all right? This is what I teach other agencies how to do, is to execute on this model and create these productized services that scale, as I call them. That's my brand. And I would love to have the opportunity to help you with that. There's information below here in the description of this video if you're interested. But next, what I want to take you through in this video is data to show you really what's behind this industry and this opportunity, so that you can see the numbers for yourself and make sure that you fully understand the case that I'm making here. Because in order to commit to it and really go for it, you've really got to understand it yourself and believe it yourself. And so I'm going to share the data with you to try and make that case. Okay, so just looking at some statistics about this industry, which I think are really, really important to understand. Okay, we all hear about the huge number of small businesses, right? There's 32 million small businesses in the United States. It's this massive market. Well, let's dig into that a little bit so we know what we're dealing with. Here's a statistic from Zen Business. 18.27% estimated that their annual sales would exceed 200,000. So less than 20% of those 32 million small businesses would actually bring in more than $200,000 in revenue. So we've already cut away roughly 80% of those 32 million small businesses here in the US as viable customers for any sort of agency services, right? If those small businesses are making less than $200,000 a year in total revenue, they are not going to spend a bunch of money on agency services with you. They'll pay for the web hosting that they need to survive to have a website. They'll pay for their mobile phone. They'll pay for some software that they need to run their business. But if you think that they're going to take half of their income or even a third or a quarter of their income and spend it on an agency, that is just not going to happen. So we just got rid of over 80% of the market right there for agency services. 43% of small businesses estimated that their sales would be less than $50,000 a year. Okay, so we're talking some really, really meager numbers here. 47% of small businesses spend less than $10,000 a year total on digital marketing. Okay, so essentially half of small businesses spend less than $10,000 on digital marketing. Now, let's break down how they're spending that money a little bit more so we can see where those dollars are going. About 52% of all spending goes to website maintenance, website design, and hosting. Okay, website maintenance, website design, and website hosting, which is no huge surprise because those are really basic things that a small business just absolutely has to have. So that is over 52% of their spending. Businesses with under 50 employees, which is the far, far, far majority of small businesses, they are spending less than $500 a year on web hosting and email list management. And we just said that web hosting was about 50% of their spend. So essentially a lot of these businesses are spending in the low thousands of dollars a year total on any sort of digital marketing services. Businesses with more than 50 employees are spending on average $63,000 a year, which still is not a ton of money. It's only $5,000 a month total, okay, for all of those services. That's not a lot of money. So it may sound like this is all doom and gloom, but I can assure you it's not. And here's why. Small businesses collectively spend a ton of money on website hosting, website maintenance, on software, on telecom services. These are all services that small businesses have to survive and compete in today's age. And if you look at statistics from, let's say, HubSpot obviously a major leader in this space, and thankfully, because they're a public company, you can get online and you can look at their reports, their annual reports, and you can see that it's a big, big, big industry, and they are making a lot of money. So if I pull up their most recent investor analyst presentation off of their website, they're showing that their market for marketing, sales, service, CMS, and operations software, which is this suite of software that they offer to the small business space, that in today's market, that is $51 billion. And in 2028, they're expecting that to be $77 billion. So we're talking considerable growth here over the next handful of years. And right now, and actually in the future as well, about a third of that spend will be from small business customers. And I'm talking about businesses that are 1 to 99 employees specifically is what they're referencing, that those small business customers today are spending probably roughly $15 billion on the type of software that HubSpot is selling and delivering. and that going forward, that number will rise to somewhere to 20 to 25 billion here over the next 5 years. So they're spending a lot and it's growing. And if we look at the web hosting market, the web hosting market is actually massive and expected to grow very quickly in the next handful of years. And analysts say that that is actually being driven by growth from small businesses, that small businesses are catching up some in the whole digital transition, and that they are investing more and more in websites and web hosting. This market is actually really, really big. It's 94.6 billion in 2022 and expected to grow to 395 billion by 2030. So that's a 20% compound annual growth rate during that period. So that's huge money. So between web hosting services and the market for services such as what HubSpot is delivering, we're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 billion by 2030, just in those two markets, let alone spending on telecom services, SMS services, things like that. And of course, digital advertising and SEO and pay-per-click ads, all of this adds up to a lot of money being spent. And the far majority of those dollars are not being spent on agency services. In fact, I found a statistic here that roughly only 25% of small businesses spend any money on any third party helping them in any way with digital marketing. So hiring some sort of agency. It's only 25% of those small businesses. So the far majority of dollars being spent are being spent on these basic services that are things like software, web hosting, SMS, email, phone numbers, things like that, the things that they need to survive. But it's a huge amount of money, and this is where the anti-agency opportunity is. By using high-level software, we can sell software to those customers. We can also sell web hosting, and we can sell websites, and we can sell and mark up email and SMS and phone services all through the high-level platform, and many other services as well being plugged into it every day, including the big one, which leads to why this opportunity is so important right now, which is AI. HighLevel has been aggressive about building in AI capabilities that are going to run throughout the software. Okay, a very powerful one just got released, which is that you can have an AI chatbot that you can provide to your small businesses that you can train very, very quickly so that small businesses can start capturing more opportunities of people that are coming to their website and have questions, want to contact somebody, want to find directions on how to get to their business, things like that. Those are huge missed opportunities for most small businesses today. All you got to do is spend a little time trying to pull up some businesses in your area and trying to get good information and contact them. Businesses aren't picking up their phones. They're not responding to emails. It's a disaster. Well, now with this AI bot, the AI bot will answer those questions and provide that information accurately for those small businesses without them having to hire more people and without them having to spend a ton of money on services, because AI is inexpensive, but you get to offer those services and make nice recurring revenue from those businesses based on the fact that they're now using AI. Maybe they're using SMS through you, email through you, they're paying to access your software. This is going to be a landslide opportunity for small businesses. Small businesses are finally going to be able to have the proper service levels and responsiveness to their customers and to their prospects to provide that better customer service, to make sure that they're not missing out on opportunities, because AI is going to handle that for them. And you can be the provider of that through the high-level software platform that you can then roll out your services to these customers with. And here's why it's so important to capitalize on this right now. When a small business gets into a software platform and starts using it, just think of a typical CRM platform where you've got all of your customer information in there, You've been tracking all of your interactions with your customers. You've got reports, you've got tasks, you've got your sales pipeline being managed in there. You've got all of these things happening in the software platform. It is incredibly difficult and painful and just not a priority to move from that platform to another platform, right? I'm on GoHighLevel now. You would have to give me so much better of a value proposition from some other software to move my businesses from that to that other software platform that it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to imagine how you could provide that much bigger of a value proposition than what GoHighLevel is doing, that I would actually move my businesses over to another CRM. Because the pain of moving all of my customer records, all of my data, training my team on a new system, that's something that would take months of planning and just be a total pain in the neck to coordinate. I would only do it if there was a really, really, really compelling value proposition for me to do it. And there really isn't. And I don't imagine there's going to be, because GoHighLevel is staying so competitive and being so aggressive in making sure that their software has all the features and capabilities that any small business would need. It's going to be very, very hard to unseat that platform once it's been adopted. And here's the deal. There is going to be a massive push here over the next few years or so to get this software into the hands of small businesses. It's already happening incredibly quickly, but now that AI is coming out and that small businesses are going to be able to see the capabilities of AI and how it can change their business and create new opportunities and profits for them, there's going to be massive adoption of these software tools, and it's going to go through channel partners like us who are delivering it with this software platform from GoHighLevel. But once we get it in there, it's going to be really hard to get it out, which is why it's such a valuable opportunity for us as channel partners, because when we get that in there and those customers are using it, they're going to be using it and paying us for years and years to come. And competitors that come along are going to have a really hard time getting us out of there, which means we have a very, very valuable business of monthly growing recurring revenue that's very automated and very high margin. That's going to be very hard to take away. That is the anti-agency opportunity, and that's what you want to be doing. You want to be absolutely laser focused on how do I get as many small business customers using this software here over the next handful of years, the next 3 to 5 years. You want to be absolutely laser focused on that and do everything that you can to make it as easy as possible for those customers to start using your software system and your services that you've built. So I know there's all kinds of people out there right now saying you should sell these retainer agency services or sell these lead generation agency models, things like that. You should be absolutely clear about realizing that those models are not successful. They've never been successful. They have short-term wins, of course. Everybody can have short-term wins in any of those models. But all they are is getting in the way of you selling what you really should be selling, which is just getting people onto the software platform. Those other agency models have terrible churn. They have low profitability. Yes, you can get some quick wins with some quick cash flow, but if you sell your system as a service the way I teach you, you can get that upfront cash flow and get that long-term recurring revenue from those customers based on automation at very, very high margins. That is the opportunity. That is the anti-agency model, and that is where you have an incredible opportunity over the next 3 to 5 years or so to pile up some really nice recurring revenue for you, build a really nice lifestyle, potentially exit that business. There's already starting to be acquisitions happening in the space, or just hang on to your monthly cash flow and enjoy it for years to come like I plan on doing. Either way, it is a far better opportunity than the agency model, and it is an opportunity that finally allows us to deliver real value to the small businesses and really help them capitalize on this whole digital transformation and now AI transformation that really can change their lives as well. So it's a win for everybody. High Level is building an incredible business. The agency channel partners are building an incredible business, and we're helping small businesses around the world do the same. It's an incredible opportunity, the anti-agency opportunity, all right? I help agencies, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, take full advantage of High Level and all my experience in sales and marketing and selling to small businesses and servicing small businesses in a program called the High Leverage Agency that I have designed specifically for this anti-agency opportunity. Okay, you're going to see down below here a URL where you can go check it out. And if you sign up for High Level through me, you get access to that program for free, as well as a lot of other bonuses, coaching calls with me on a regular basis to support you, and I have a big active community of people who are out there taking advantage of this opportunity. You can get all the details at the URL below. You can also get details in the description of this video down below. And as well, leave any comments or questions on this video. I answer them all personally, and I would love to hear from you, okay? I hope you take full advantage of this anti-agency opportunity. Please like this video, share it with someone if you think they could get some value out of it. Subscribe to my channel, and again, comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.